beautiful day, clear skies, flat waters, a sort of offshore fisherman's dream really. And I'm out with a good mate of mine today, Adrian Lindsay. And we're here to do something a little bit different. The blade lure type has taken the lure fishing scene by storm really, and it's really well known for catching fish like your brim and your flathead and stuff like that. Well, we're out here today to use some bigger prototypes and drop them into some slightly deeper water in an area where you can get some quite big critters, and it's going to be exciting. Who knows what we're going to come up against, because they are a popular lure choice and I'm pretty sure they're going to work on some bigger fish. Just about on this bommy now, Adrian, so I reckon jigging these things up and down 7 or 8 metres of water, a nice little bommy which should hold some fish. I reckon that intense little vibration which these lures produce is going to be just the thing the doctor orders. We'll see soon. Got some action about them.
Feel the vibration. It's just insane.
If you haven't fished with these bladed lure types before, the retrieve is really simple. Watch your line as the lure sinks, and it tells you the moment it hits the bottom. They're quite heavy, so the moment they do hit the bottom, your line slackens. The moment it slackens, you just lift them up off the bottom. They do most of the work for you. They vibrate as they lift. You lift them about 1 metre or so off the bottom, get to the top, let them go back down again. That's about as simple as it gets. And that being said, they are a pretty versatile lure choice. You can slow roll them, you can jig them a bit, but if you want to keep it nice and simple, slow lift up, drop them back down, put them in the right spot, and they are very good at getting the attention of fish just because they agitate fish with that intense vibration. I reckon, mate, there's going to be something down there. Oh yes, it's going to go. No, it's going to go, it's going to go. Hasn't woken up yet.
On the drop too.
What do you call it, mate? Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. It's
No,
it's.
it hasn't woken up yet. No, it's not. Big golden as well. Do you want me to? There's a bommy down there too. Not that going too much harder on it.
Nothing I can do on this.
No, there isn't much you can do on it.
What I was doing there was, we just come up to a bommy and I cast out and let it hit the bottom, and all I was doing was slowly lifting the rod up, winding up the slack, and it just, what it does is it flips up. Looks like a wounded bait fish scurrying off the bottom. And then as I'm on the drop, it just went, all the line went tight and I struck, and here we are now. The advantages of having a nice soft tip on this rod, especially when using blades, is that the fish, when he shakes his head, it absorbs the shock. Have a go at the size of this. He's still a bit green. He's still got a, you see this bait, he'll go. There you go.
Oh, it's not a goldie. I think it's a permit.
Oh, it's a permit! No wonder it went hard.
Oh, how good's that? These are hard fish to catch. Look at that. Look at that. Let's bring him round. You got him well hooked, mate. He sucked that in. No, I was just going to make sure. Oh, Adrian!
Yes!
On the hell five there, but I got a handful of fish. How good is that? That is magnificent. So many anglers tour the world hunting for these, mate. A lot of them do it on fly. You've hooked it somewhat uniquely. You've used a TT 1.5 ounce blade, in magic little colour around here, white and red head. Fishing a little 8-9 metre patch of ground, a little bommy, and these are perfect lures for jigging up and down in the bottom.
Exactly.
Because that intense vibration stimulates the attention of any of these sort of predators. Mate, I reckon we get that out quickly.
I will.
Get a snap and get him in the drink, because that is a very, very special fish. All right. little mackerel. Mackerel on blades. It's different. I think it's possibly what chased you up. I'm guessing you've got about a 55 centimetre school mackerel. Because where there's one, there's usually some more. You right, the big fella?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, mate, just grab it.
There you go, there you go. Let's get this in. Come across a nice patch of birds there. The boys had their eyes out. And we come up to work a little bit of surface activity. And quite often we throw slugs or soft plastics at them, but today we're really mucking around with different ways of fishing these big style blades, because they certainly get responses from a lot of predators. And these guys, one of the mackerel family, obviously bunches of these guys, and the Spaniards and the other spotties and those guys get a lot bigger, but it's in their nature to eat things that vibrate and come whizzing past them. So I'll get that little blade out. There you go. Here's a little thing. Sometimes you do hold fish upside down, they tend to go a bit quiet for you. And see you later. Come on, Holmes. Oh. Yep, gotcha. Couple of goes at it. Oh, those are long tails too. Get over top of it. Go, go. Got a little mackerel out of it. School mackerel. Interesting way of catching these. We're trying to chase some fish that are busting up on the top, but as we get close to them, they tend to get a bit boat shy and go down. What we're doing, because we're using these big heavy lures, we can cast way past where the fish are busting up, and if they have gone down, we simply let that lure get to bottom before we crank it up, so we bring it up through the water column. Now, a little bit less suspicious of it, and we tend to find that sometimes these mackerel are actually sitting underneath the tuna. So just plan your approach a little bit to fish that are doing that, particularly, and then using a lure choice like this, which is nice and heavy. Cast far, let it sink, and it brings about the undoing of some of these guys, which are a whole lot of fun, particularly on this light gear. You want to be making some good casts at times when you're doing this, so you don't get your boat too close to fish, which means you need to think through some of the tackle you're using. To help us with that casting, as well as having the guts to land fish, we're loading up our outfits with 20 and 30 pound braided line, so you've got really nice fine diameter, no stretch. It means you can cast these things a mile. And you've also got plenty of strength, like 20, 30 pound braid will very often break around 50 pounds, so you've got plenty of strength. It's also fine diameter, lets you cast. To finish that off, we're using 2 metres of 30 and 40 pound leader. Fluorocarbon gives it a little bit more abrasion resistance. And obviously our Tackle Tactics 1 ounce blade on the end. The other thing too, these lures come equipped with some really nice solid hooks on them. And you can fish them so many different ways. Like we can jig them up off the bottom in deep water, or you can high speed spin them like we're doing here. What a wonderful lure to have in the tackle box, made for all occasions. You'll notice too, when you get these lures out of the box, there's a whole series of these toe points sitting on top of the lure, and they're there for a specific design purpose that, depending on where you rig your attachment up to, got a nice big solid snap there, depending where you locate that, it means you can fish the lure slightly differently. For your higher speed stuff, it's nice in these front two holes, but if you're jigging or you want to slowly roll these, by that just slow down your retrieve, helps to start putting them into these more rear toe points. Yep, on the drop. Oh yeah, this is a better one, eh? Oh, that'll put one in the tail. Oh dear, oh dear. That was a case of chasing fish on the top and letting those lures sink down around the bottom, where we're starting to presume, and I think quite rightly so, that there's some better fish sitting around down deep. By having a lure choice which lets you get down there, and something that vibrates and you can retrieve quickly, means you can target those bigger fish around the bottom successfully. Getting them back, another ball game. Oh dear, now we're in trouble. Now there'll be no chasing because one will go that way and the other one's going to go that way. Good on you, Adrian. What are we going to do now?
I can't let you have the limelight all the time. What we saw was tuna just busting this bait ball up. So we came up, we stopped, we just drifted in, they actually fed towards us. So then we put caster either side of the bait ball, let it sink down, engaged, burnt it, as in wound really fast, and then they hit actually on the drop. So once we stopped winding, the lure dropped back, they hit it and took off.
Oh, they're big goldies. I thought it was a tuna, but it's not. There you go, there's benefits. We were talking before about all the predators which hang around the bait balls and they've all got their order. Here's a big golden followed by another big golden. So this blade has cruised down alongside a bait ball and been sucked in by this guy. There you have it. Big chunk of golden. That's a lovely golden trevally which has been joined the rest of the predators feeding off this bait that's sitting around us at the moment. There's all sorts of activity going on. There's looks like mac tunas, a few longtails jumping, there's small school mackerel cruising around, and there's these guys sitting down the bottom. By using a different lure choice, we've been able to get down and target some of these other species. What a whole lot of fun. I'll get him back in the water. Lovely. All right, spear this guy down. He wants to go. All right, see you later. I'll go and help this other loser out up the front of the boat now. Well done, mate.
No worries.
That's fantastic. Shows you what you get around these big bait balls, eh? You
do,
bust up
mate.
everything. The whole queue of predators is here. Your little white and orange. You like that colour, don't you?
I do, mate. It's as I said before, it's one of my favourite colours, and especially in soft plastic.
Let's get a quick photo and get him back in the water, eh? Don't like keeping these ones out of the water too long. Family picks. Right. Well, there's a couple of TT 1.5 ounce switchblades, which we've just successfully fished a morning with, and we've targeted fish both in patches of reef on the bottom with a nice jigging retrieve, and then we've also gone and chased fish that are feeding around bait balls with high speed retrieves and pauses and stops, and the battle scars on these lures are showing the signs that they certainly are a favourite with the predators out there. And such a versatile lure choice, I think. If you are after a lure which will do a whole range of things and is very attractive to those bigger critters which live offshore, you go a lot worse than sticking a couple of these 1.5 ounce switchblades in your tackle box. Get in amongst them.
It's Bill Klassen here from The Fishing Show, and if you like this instructional video and want to learn more, it's simple. Go to fishingshowtv.com.au and see a whole host of additional videos.